Hi everyone, is Parol, Life and Leadership Coach, your usual host. And today I've got a special guest for you with lots of tips for everyone. So I've got guest Marvin Ambrosius, and Marvin is an fitness expert, a celebrity. You might have seen him in Sky TV, he's everywhere. So today Martin giving his time to share some tips with us. Marvin, thank you very much for your time and giving us your time. So a little bit about Marvin. So Marvin has been working in the fitness industry for a long time and helping a lot of people with their fitnesses. And Marvin worked with Sky TV, but also he's an entrepreneur. Marvin launched his app and also worked with some of the major brand like Fitbit. Marvin previously also was involved in music, which is amazing to know. And he was writing, he was recording songs as well. And Marvin's aim is to help many people as possible to become best version of themselves, but not just physically, but also mentally as well. So I'm not going to say much more because I want you to hear from Marvin. Marvin, welcome on board. And
Thank you so much for
can
having me.
Thank you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, why you decided to become a fitness instructor?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me, and thank you for that amazing intro. You pretty much said everything that is in the ethos of me. But like the reason why I became a fitness instructor was because over the years after I'd played basketball growing up, I was a professional basketball player up until the age of 19, and I went into music and I didn't actually know, weirdly enough, you'd think I'd know how to stay fit and healthy, but all I knew was basketball. But once I quit playing that, I noticed after a couple of years my weight just ballooned. I probably went from 13 stone to probably 18 stone in less than 4 years. And that wasn't because I was doing anything differently I was doing before. I just wasn't training anymore. And I love food. I just didn't realize that my body just holds on to it. Whatever I do is a reaction happens. So over the years, what I did was I kept on doing fad diets and losing the weight, putting it back on, losing the weight, putting it back on. And at some point it took years, and when I say years, I'm talking probably about 10 years for the light bulb switch to hit me. And one day I'd realized, I said, I've got to change my lifestyle. I've got to stop eating food as a reward if I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling happy, because I always ate food as kind of a reward rather than eating for fuel. So I said, let me treat food as a source of fuel to get me through the day, and let me treat exercise as something to make me feel better and do something to get me healthier. So once I combined those two things, I was working at a desk job at the time and I was working in sales and marketing. So on my lunch breaks, I had about 30 minutes to 40 minutes of exercise, and pretty much every day of the week, solidly for about 4 to 5 months, I did the same routine. I ate the same meals that I prepped. And I was lucky enough to have a cafeteria at work where I could get the food that I wanted. And I did that every day. And over that period of time, I lost around 3, 4 stone.
Wow.
And everybody kept on stopping me, like, what are you doing? I was like, I just changed my lifestyle. And I really enjoyed being in the gym. I love the environment. And a lot of people kept on asking me for tips, and I would give them the tips. I'd help them. And I started helping this group of people. And I started ending up teaching a class that I wasn't even teaching. It was just me doing my own workout. And then I started getting all these people following me and just saying, you really inspire me and motivate me. And I said, I really enjoy motivating people. And that was when it hit me. And I'd realized, I think I found my calling. I've realized that I can help other people through my own experience. And I'd realized I went through so many pitfalls, and I didn't want everybody else to go through the same things I went through to get where I got to. So I said, let me speed up other people's process for them to realize that they don't have to beat themselves up today, but they can work on themselves today to be a better version of themselves tomorrow. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to become a trainer at that moment. And that was when I was around 32. And see, I've been in the fitness industry for 10 years. It's not really a long time, but in that time that I was in it, in that starting moment, I'd realized that the most important part of becoming a trainer wasn't necessarily my knowledge and expertise. It was the empathy and the understanding of what that person's going through, and how to empathize with their situation and relate to that person. And I think that was the secret to my successes. I had tapped into that very quickly with people, and lo and behold, I became a trainer because of that.
Thank you, Marvin. Thank you very much for sharing your story. You mentioned one thing about finding your light bulb moment and finding your core, which is essential because sometimes we could be spending ages. You said it took you what 10 years to kind of like, and sometimes people give up so easily,
Yeah,
And I think when it comes to weight, it's not just about eating junk, it's also the portion, how much you eat, when you eat, and
exactly.
balancing. You mentioned about balancing with exercise, not just about crash diet you can lose, then you gain it back, which you have
Exactly.
experience, I have experienced, same thing. I think
Yeah.
my light bulb moment or our fitness really came in like, or even though I've been doing it, but during COVID, first COVID, like being at home, uh, front of computer 24/7, like you working, you just putting a lot of weight in your belly. So like, this is not
Yeah.
the life I want. I'm not walking about, you just automatically put a lot of weight. So you have to have the light bulb moment to realize, okay, what else can I do, or what better way we can do things,
Yeah.
So
One
thank
thing,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
one thing I've realized is you can't outwork a bad diet.
No.
And no matter how much exercise you're doing,
Yeah.
you can eat and you think, oh, but I'm gonna exercise 3 times today. It
Yeah.
just doesn't work like that. But it can when people are in it was like really youthful. Like when you're in your like teens and 20s,
Hmm.
you can live that way and get away with it for a
Yeah.
while. But
Yeah.
when you get into your mid 30s and you hit those 40s, your body's
40s.
like,
Yes,
nah,
absolutely.
it's not
It's
happening
very
anymore.
hard to lose weight after 40.
Oh, it
It's
is.
not.
You've got all these other things going on in your
Yeah.
body as well.
Yeah.
Like your
Yeah.
metabolic rate
Yeah.
changes, your
Yeah.
body, your fun. You'd be amazed. Even from the age of, I'd say 38 to 42 now, which I am now, there's been a change in how my body responds. I'm used to
Yeah.
doing something for
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
respond, and it's not responding as fast as it used to. So I have to find
No.
out new ways. But the good thing is, as I'm experimenting on myself,
Yeah.
I can then pass that knowledge to someone else. And
Absolutely.
that's what I like about my job, is that I can always find something and click with someone. And it's
Mm.
weird. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I ended up within the industry, and
Mm.
I'd work with more, like probably 99% women. And I
Mm.
never really understood why I'd attracted more women to do training. I think it was because the language I used and how I spoke to them
Mm.
and spoke about feeling better opposed to looking better. I think the
Absolutely. Yeah.
holistic side of it is how I connected
Yeah.
with people,
Yeah.
because I'm not about how you look or aesthetic. If I can get you to feel happy today, then I know that you're going to be happy tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and I think once you fall in love with the process, because that is the key to everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you've met, and I've met loads of people that can appear to have everything and they should be happy, but they're not. I'm trying to get you to connect with loving the process now. So when
Mm.
good things do come to you, you can
Yeah.
enjoy all these
Mm.
good things rather than feeling like it's not that great.
Yeah.
So I always say celebrate the small wins, because the big wins don't come that quickly.
Quickly, yeah. Hold on to the thought of feeling good because I'm going to come back to that question.
Mm,
Yeah. So, Marvin, you always talk about, your mom as a role
yeah.
model. You know, I've been known you for a while. Every time you speak, what I've seen on you, Marvin, and that's what attracted me to interview you as well, because you show a selfless respect for women, you know and as a woman, if I see down a man showing, that shows like you feel equal as a woman, because you've seen how much a man care about a woman.
Mm,
But we've seen also in other side, there are a lot of men who you know not respecting women as a human being.
mm,
And something happened last Friday. We've seen the change of legislation in America
yeah.
devastating women, a country which talks about women rights in Afghanistan, but
I know.
they actually now kill their women.
Yeah.
They're going back to
It's
centuries
unbelievable.
back now, and I've got friends, they are devastated. So as a man, I want to say, what kind of tips you can give, or what tips can you give it to men toward respect, equality, and humanity, really, from men's perspective to men?
Well, one thing that I've always done, and something that my mum always taught me, is to always try and put yourselves into the shoes of the person that you're relating to. So automatically, being coming from a female background, like my household was always women, family of always women. So I've always related women to be in the highest of power. That's literally the hierarchy I've always seen women to be, which you are. And with men and how I'd relate it to them is, if you were a woman and you were in a position to where someone was telling you to do something that you didn't want to do and it was within your rights and your body, why would you ask them to do it? Like, and if you can come up with a reasonable explanation to the why and you can't, then that's the reason not to do it. And it's all about within reasoning. And seeing that from a male and a female perspective, the perspective is of the person. If they don't want to do something, male or female, they shouldn't have to do it. It's really simple. And it's so funny how we're in this state now where we're thinking of things and making things overcomplicated. It's like, well, no, this shouldn't be a government legislation thing. This should be down to the individual. If they don't want to do something, they don't want to do it. And I think men respecting women and empowering women, the empowerment comes from choice. That's what the empowerment comes from. It's like, if you're not giving someone the choice to be able to make a difference and do something, that's taking away the power. And I think that's what I don't like about the situation. I feel like giving the power back is by the people that are actually the affected, are they're the ones that make the decisions about it. So if there was a actual voting plot where they said women are voting for what they want, if women, a majority voted for something and another majority didn't, then it's fair, because it's women voting on women. Absolutely. Not men voting on women. But as usual, what happened? Men are voting on something they know nothing about, and not even about the actual external part, the actual internal part. Because there's going to be so much counseling. My wife's a counselor, and counseling therapy is going to going through the roof in them states now, because there's going to be people in situations that they find themselves in that they're not going to be able to get out of as easy as what they should be. So I'm praying for all those people as well, hoping that they can find some solace, that they are people like ourselves that are 100% behind them in their choices and being able to empower them to be better within themselves.
Absolutely. You talk about counseling, people, mental health already shooting up. Yeah. Because just the legislation came up. Imagining, all the state adopting the legislation. I mean, the news I saw on Friday says 22 states are ready to adopt immediately. Where this woman's gonna go? They're
gonna leave the state. They're gonna try and leave.
Well, they have to migrate. All the tens of millions of women will have to migrate from the country.
Yeah, I know, and that's gonna be a problem.
To just be a woman,
Yeah, and that's just crazy, because some of those states I've got family in as well. I've got loads of family. Most of my family are from America, so having the conversations with them, especially my aunts and my cousins, and I'm like, how do you guys feel about it? And they're all in shock. Yeah. They're still in shock about it, because they just can't believe that. It's like the gun law thing in America baffles me all the time.
Always.
I would say guns don't kill people. People kill people. And that is, if there's no guns, then you can't kill someone. So it's it's that child logic. And I say to someone, explain something as you would a child, and you should get the result back. That's the right answer. If you can't explain it to a child, then it's not the right answer.
Absolutely. And you talk about body, like woman's body, women have a choice. Men's body, men has a choice. But men has taken a choice from women. They're your body, but you have no choice. Exactly. We're going to decide whether you keep your baby or not. Imagine all these girls, especially, who are abused.
That one there makes no sense.
I just don't understand why they gone decade back.
It's like, have you ever seen the show A Handmaid's Tale or read the book?
No, I haven't read.
There's a show called The Handmaid's Tale, and basically it's about a future, and the future of where women are basically kind of working within roles where they're just to look after men and slaves, and women are there to breed babies, to build society and have boys, and it kind of feels like Handmaid's Tale. And I'm like, I can't believe that I'm having conversations about TV shows that are now coming into life. COVID felt like a movie that we didn't want to be in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a movie we didn't want to be in.
And then now this news that came out feels like a movie that I don't want to be a part of. But if there's anything that the annoying thing is, we're overseas to where we can't do anything about it. But what we can do is lend our voice to support those women and let them know, no, this isn't right. We're behind you. And hopefully there's something we can do, whether it's to sign something, a petition. We're happy to sign it, and hopefully other men listen to myself, and they will sign things like that too.
That's what I was going to ask, Marvin. My next question is, men who are already residing in America, living with women who might be feeling insecure and upset, what they can do to support the women they're surrounded by.
Yeah, definitely. The best thing to do, I would say, is find out what groups they can do, whether that's where signing petitions, posting, putting things on your social platform, just showing that you're with them and standing by them. Because I think there's nothing worse than women having to support women but feeling alone in their own support system, because we've all realized now the only way, because of what's happened, the only way we're going to get together to get to somewhere, the destination we want to be at, is if all of us come together as
Absolutely.
humanity. Because this is what we forget: humanity.
Yeah.
We're not thinking about men and women. This is a
Yes.
humanity problem
Yeah.
that we're facing at the moment.
No.
So if we can actually empower each other to share that information and then do something about it, hopefully we can do that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marvin. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Now, going back to you being a fitness instructor, now I've worked with loads of women. What I've seen is, the feeling of, and also men and young boys. I work with teenagers as well, Marvin. But what I've seen is not just girls, teenage girls feeling about conscious about their body image, but also boys, but also women, mature women, women who are working. Because of all this, modeling of zero size, even average women feel they're overweight and they feel insecure about their body.
Yeah.
So can you share some tips about, you talked about feelings, in inner self. So can you explore a bit more about and give us some tips for those men and women, both actually, about how to feel about themselves if they feel overweight, and how to look after themselves?
Well, the first thing I always want people to understand is that you are unique to yourself. There is no one out there that can look like you, and there's no point in trying to look like someone else. So as much as society wants to push to us and things that are in social media about what size we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to look, ultimately, the one thing you want to do is become the best version of you. None of us know what the best version of ourselves is. It's a life-seeking journey. So the only thing that you can do is do something today to be a better version of yourself tomorrow, whether that's trying to eat more healthier, figuring it out how to do that, whether that's exercising more, walking more, doing more, or even educating yourself to how to do something. But most importantly, it's just understanding that to every day that we wake up and we get to breathe, that is a gift in itself. And that is a reason to smile and be happy rather than beating yourself up about something that is out of our control. You can't look like something else. You can't, even if you got to your destination, which I've seen people get to, they get there and someone turns around and says to them, do you know what? You've got too thin now. And what happens? Your world completely blows up because you thought you were going to a destination that everybody said you should get to. You get there, and what happens? You get a backhanded compliment. And because your mission statement wasn't in the right frame of mind, you've now been swayed to where you should originally been feeling good about yourself in your process. And that's what we spoke about earlier, enjoying the process. And that is why I say to people, I'm a foodie. I love my food. I'm not going to take away the elements of food that I enjoy, but what I am going to do is manage them and make sure that I'm not overeating. I'm not going to be overindulging. I'm not going to be eating takeaways every single week. I'm going to make sure when I get the moments where I can do it, I'm going to enjoy every moment of it because I do something to balance that. I exercise. I walk a lot. I make sure that I eat healthy on pretty much 90% of the time. So that little 10% that I'm eating unhealthy, it's not going to do anything to me. If anything, I'm feeling good about it because I'm enjoying myself. And we're here to enjoy our lives. We're not here to every single day second guess everything we're doing. I should be doing that. I should be doing this. Like, no, we should be living. So focus on the person you are now and do something good now that you know that's going to make you feel good. And don't worry about what other people are doing.
Thank you, Marvin. Thank you for sharing the tips. Exactly what you said is, like feeling good about yourself is you are unique. And you shouldn't be worried about outside people, you should be, worrying, you should be just looking at yourself, that you are unique, and make yourself feel good. Absolutely. Great, great tips. Marvin, so in terms of, you share quite a lot of tips from your story to, what's happening in America, and now in terms of top tips about feeling good. Now, if you were to leave one thoughts for our audience, for both male and female, what would that be?
My top tip would be to be yourself, like 100% authentic yourself, and tell yourself the truth that's not the lie. And what I mean by that is the things that you tell yourself to stop yourself from doing something, reverse that thought process and do the complete opposite. Because whatever makes you uncomfortable is going to get you to your comfortable space.
Great, great. Yeah, I'm comfortable, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Marvin. Thank you for your time. And if people want to connect with you, what's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, you can reach me on my Instagram at Marvin Ambrosius, or if you're ever interested to any online training as well, just hit me at Marvin at fitfreaks.tv. You can message me there. And most important, I'll let everybody know on my Instagram, I answer every single question. As you know, I will get back to every single individual. And that's just because if I can help one person, that's enough. That's why I got into this business, because I want to help as many people as possible.
Well, thank you very much, Marvin. To audience, you had a lot of tips, so please do share and like our videos, because we bring interview every other week or every week almost, and I'll be tagging Marvin into all the posts as well. So if you want to get connected with him, you can follow my post and connect with him as well. Marvin got lots of tips, and I love kind of interacting with Marvin. Yeah, and he shared lots of tips. So please do share and like our video. And thank you, Marvin,
No,
for your
thank
time
you.
again. Okay, bye-bye.